Good morning. Right? It's morning. Yeah, it's morning. All right. So good morning. And as I told you guys in the last video, I'm finally going to show you my financial mistake I have purchased here in Japan. Now, before I show you guys this car, I'm just going to say, um, this car is bound to come. Like I was going to own one of these things sooner or later, and this definitely made the little 14-year-old in me very happy. So, with no further ado, here is my 1997 Nissan Silvia Q, aka Koki S14.
Tori on the beat.
So, a little background on the car. This is a Silvia Q, which means it is an SR20DE, which is the non-turbo version, which is fine. You know, I come from a Miata, so I'm not used to horsepower anyway, so that works out perfectly. But the car is debatable in terms of mileage. The tag currently says 75,000 miles, but then auction sheet says, oh well, it says 100,000 or 75,000 kilometers, sorry, and then auction sheet says 100,000 kilometers. So the mileage on this thing is questionable, but the body of the car has slight surface rust, but nothing crazy or detrimental for the car. Nothing a little sanding down and respray can't fix. So that's why this car was cheap. Another reason why this car was cheap was because the car has been unregistered for quite a bit of time. So meaning that, you know, not road legal. It's kind of like having a non-up car back in the States. So the car is not currently street legal, so to say. And yeah, that's why this car was cheap. Now, a basic rundown of the exterior. This is some carbon fiber hood that I absolutely hate, so we're going back to an OEM hood. For wheels, we are actually running stock GTR wheels, which actually don't look horrible on this car. But these are 16s, and I want to go up to, I think, 17s. So that is the future goal for this car. Other exterior mods, I think these are OEM option side skirts on this car. Sorry, I can't really film the whole thing in one angle. It's kind of a tight spot. But yeah, I think these are OEM option side skirts. They're pretty nice. I think I might keep these, or I might go with the 270R side skirts that are being remade. And then this is the other catastrophe right here. This gigantic ugly wing that unfortunately is drilled into the trunk. So that means that we need to get a new trunk, or either sand this or bondle this one and patch the holes, but I think we're just gonna go with the new trunk. But other than that, the car is pretty much stock exterior wise, which is perfect for me. It allows me to do what I want to do to this car. There are quite a bit of things I want to do, so this car is going to be as crazy as an exterior as I have planned for the Miata, but nonetheless it will still be modified. Now for the interior of this car. Another big reason why I bought this car was because it has full interior and everything is intact. As you can see, no missing interior panels. Door panels are relatively good. That side needs a little help, but yeah, rear seats are still fully intact. No missing trim pieces on any of the pillars, and the biggest thing was a non-cracked dash. Now, obviously, there's a little fading, as you can see, going on the passenger side airbag area, but I think a flock on like the top part of the dash will perfectly kind of resolve that issue. Now, the car came with this Momo steering wheel that I don't know what the hell happened to, but if we kill focus, yep, it's like cut right there, and the horn button's falling apart a little bit, but I already got a steering wheel in it, or a replacement for it, so that's not big of an issue. It also came with these really ugly pedal covers, which, you know, not a big issue. We can take those off, replace them, or do something, so that's not too big. The car actually came with R32 GTR seats, which are actually, they're pretty nice seats. I was sitting in them and they're not bad. However, I already have replacement seats for this car, so unfortunately these are going to be taken out. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with them, but you know, they're definitely going to get swapped out. The car also came with Sabelt harnesses, which are going to get taken out because I don't really need them at the moment, and they're kind of pain in the butt and they're getting in the way, so those are coming out. The car also has a, I don't know what shift knob that is, but I've never seen it, but obviously I got a replacement for that as well. But other than that, it's just attachment to the rear side mirror, and that's really about it. I'm really stoked. Oh, and then it's got an aftermarket head unit and maybe speakers, I'm assuming, but other than that, the car's interior is actually in pretty good condition. I think as long as I clean it up, it's a little dirty, but as long as I clean it up, this thing will turn out pretty nice. Not too big of plans for interior, maybe just you know, get some newer pieces for the center console, maybe change the surround trim pieces on the centerpiece right there into carbon fiber, but nothing too crazy. A big bonus for me for this car was how the interior was black on black. I hate tan. I'm getting rid of it in my Miata slowly but surely, but having this car as an all black car interior and no sunroof was a big bonus, as I don't need either of those items. Now, as I said earlier, the car is a DE, as you can tell. No headers, no turbo or anything there, but again, that's perfectly fine. In terms of the engine bay, seems like the owner kept it relatively, nothing crazy, you know, like no ITBs or anything. It's a stock intake chamber to an absolutely deteriorated HKS intake, but I mean, you know, you buy replacements for these filters, so that's no biggie. I don't know what headers these are, but they're definitely not stock. But yeah, I mean, the car isn't horribly loud, so it's nothing that bad. I'm assuming it is I think it's a 4-to-1 header, so that's kind of nice. Other than that, the car came with an Apexi strut bar, which is a nice little touch. But that's really about it in terms of the engine bay. We are missing the little cooling panel that goes across this whole part, which I'm trying to source right now. But I mean, nothing too bad in terms of modifications. As you can see, this car does have a lot of surface rust. See down there, all the way there, but there's no, like, you know, none of the panels or none of the metals are like splitting, or none of it's really falling apart. It's all really just surface rust that I need to sand down and kind of like respray over to make sure rust doesn't get back to it. But yeah, that's really about it for the engine bay. You know, stock radiator still. The engine's, I think, all stock still. So yeah, nothing too crazy, which I like it. You know, keeps it reliable. But I think the header just adds a nice little touch to the sound as well as the intake. But yeah, that filter needs to definitely be replaced. This car did come with ABS, which was an interesting thing to me. I thought being like a sport package with like no sunroof and stuff, the car wouldn't have a ABS system, but this one did. I guess that kind of prohibited the drifters from buying it, so kind of worked out in my favor. Another thing you notice is also that the car seems to be originally a black car. This blue seems to be a respray, which actually doesn't turn out that bad. I usually don't like cars that get resprayed just because the engine bays are different colors, but if it's a black engine bay and a different color exterior, that's like the one exception I'm okay with. So that's another reason why I bought this car. The exterior color of this car I can't really tell what it is. I want to say it's Bayside blue, which would be amazing, but it seems to be a little bit. It seems to have a little bit more pop and a little bit more darker than Bayside. So I'm not 1,000% sure in what the color of this car is. As you can tell, this hood seems to be a fiberglass or carbon fiber skin with the fiberglass structure, which, you know, we don't like that. Somehow they did retain this windshield wiper fluid mechanism, which was nice. That's always a nice thing to keep, so we're planning to keep that. Again, I said we're going back to an OEM hood on this thing. In terms of suspension, this car just came with some Tane, I don't know what model these are, but Tane coilovers on all four, which was pretty nice. In terms of suspension, I think the only thing I saw were some different arms in the rear. And check it out. Yeah, it seems like we got some sort of weird aftermarket adjustable arms in the rear. Not that crucial to me. And then for an exhaust, as I said, we got a header. We have a header up front, but then in the rear we have a Kakimoto Racing single exit exhaust, which actually looks pretty good. I might swap it out. Who knows? It's definitely good for what it is right now. But yeah, that's the setup of the car at the moment. Now, some other small issues with this car is actually, surprisingly, the headlights are perfectly fine. They actually line up pretty damn well. The rear taillights, on the other hand, are a little questionable, as these don't line up the greatest. This side's fine, however this side doesn't line up that well, so I mean that probably just takes a little bit of adjusting, not too big. All the seals seem to be fading, so I gotta do something about that. The front ones especially are bad, so that needs to get resolved. The clutch is out, which is another reason why this car hasn't moved, and getting it on and off a trailer was an interesting thing to do. Another issue is the tires are bald, obviously, or not obviously, but I was like, why is this car slipping so much? And I was trying to get in, and sure enough, that will explain why it's slipping. So that was interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of tiny issues like that. Again, this is a car made in the 90s, so it's been like what, 20. This car is 1997, so this car is 25 years old. So, or 25, 26 years old, so you can't expect it to be a new car. Other things are like, you know, oh, close fine that time. But sometimes this door has issues. Like you have to slam the door sometimes. Probably just a little door alignment issue, thing. Shouldn't be that big of an issue. But overall, I'm super stoked with it. For being an auction car, or Yahoo, I bought this car in Yahoo Auctions. It actually was in a lot better condition than I was expecting it to be. I'm super happy to own one. In terms of plans for this car, exterior wise, just we're going with the Greddy front lip. Debating on making the turn signals, the front amber turn signals, into clear ones. We're still debating on that. I want to source a set of Ganadors for this car, and then, as I said, side skirts. Probably go to 270R or 270R side skirts to keep these. Then for the rear, we're removing this horrendous thing. We're doing an Origin Lab roof spoiler that goes right here, and then we're doing an Origin Lab rear ducktail, where it kind of like extends this trunk line, and it's a nice little touch. Other than that, oh, and then obviously the OEM hood. Other than that, it's wheels, which I don't really care for right now, just because wheels are kind of expensive at the moment. But yeah, exterior wise, it's gonna be a nice subtle build. This car is just gonna be a nice, clean and subtle, not subtle, but like, you know, it'll stand out a little bit, but it's gonna be a lot more of a cleaner build, I'd say. interior wise, I already told you guys I want to do the carbon fiber pieces. And then Cusco also makes a bolt-in roll cage, which kind of just surrounds the A pillar, the C pillar, and stuff like that, which I might be kind of interested in. But other than that, just a simple cleanup. Maybe get these rear seats, rear upholstery to match the aftermarket front seats I will be installing. But from other than that, it's just TLC. Giving this car attention and, you know, fixing the tiny stuff, replacing all the stuff it needs to get replaced. You know, like finding the front cooling panel for this car, and, you know, sanding down all the surface rust. It's gonna be small stuff like that. Just kind of bringing the car back to the standard it should be, and enjoying it for what it is. The next video you'll see about this car, actually it will be the next video, is me installing my new steering wheel, shift knob, and bucket seats. I think there was one more item I'm forgetting, but for now, yeah, it's all interior stuff. Kind of, you know, freshen up the interior a little bit because it's a little tired and it's a little worn out. So that is the next video. So stay tuned, and yeah, this is the financial mistake I have made here in Japan. So stay tuned and look forward to more videos on this 90s claptrap that I have bought.